Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Sam's podcast here today. Today, I'm joined with John and Adam. I have a cough this week, so if at random points I mute the mic and cough, I apologise. It's not the dreaded Rona, but somebody who does have the dreaded Rona is Porto in Luckhurst. So he was meant to be here today, but instead it's just John and Adam, which is still a very good collective mix, and it keeps the three-person styles going. How are you both? Are you guys well?
That's right. I was waiting for Mr. Mamoon to say something.
Oh, sorry.
I'm very well, thank you, Alex. I'm very well. Fully prepared for like the biggest shark jump in the history of Doctor Who, and yeah, all well and good.
Just realised that no, I've zoomed like
You just like super zoomed in then.
yeah,
Super zoomed.
It's what I meant. It's what I meant to do. But yeah, I only just got around to it. Sorry, I'm very.
It's Disability Pride Month, so representing the flag and everything, and yeah, all good.
Yeah. Of course, this is a Wednesday podcast because of the meme of the July 6th. Yes. But don't worry, I have a beverage which Adam will get excited about because it's always
I've also come prepared with Krabby's alcoholic ginger beer today, and naturally a pack of jelly babies, which fading in and out of actual picture. There you go.
I was going to ask if anybody had ginger beer, so this is good.
I think ginger beer is disgusting. I can't lie to you.
So you are effectively Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah.
I also don't.
Although you're not cosplaying, obviously I'm here in my Crayford get up. Mr. Mamoon's here in his fourth Doctor get up. So although you've not got the costume, you are effectively Sarah Jane Smith for this episode.
Here's the hot take as well. I don't think Jelly Baby was that great either.
Well, I was going to offer you one, but now that you said that, I'm going to put it back in the packet.
What color was it though?
It was red.
I wouldn't take that anyway.
Which one would you take if you had to?
Yellow or purple?
Yellows. I like the yellow. I like the yellow one. They're probably my favorite.
It's the purple one I always thought was black.
Really?
It doesn't look. It's never looked purple to me.
People always tend to refer to it as like the black jelly baby, don't they? But it is purple.
I mean, I think they need to use more purple color dye, or whatever they put in those horrendous things, to make it come out that color. Because I've always thought of it as
Alex Kingdom advocates giving more additives to children.
Yes. If they're going to eat jelly babies anyway, that's their fault for not choosing a better sweet. Sorry. Choose a bag of.
You're just a little bag of joy already today, aren't you?
I'm having a good day, mate. Apart from this like little tickle I've got at the back of my throat, it's nothing too bad. It's all right.
I mean,
yeah, no, I'm more partial to.
Ate more jelly babies, you might not have a tickle at the back of your throat.
I'm more partial to like a fruit pastel or a jelly tot, or maybe a bag of Tamfastics. It's what more I would go personally.
I mean, aren't fruit pastels like effectively exactly the same thing?
No, because
processed animal fats.
It's the texture of a jelly. Like, what is that? What what is the stuff?
Dust? Is that you don't like the kind of dust that you get on a jelly baby?
Nah, what is that? Get it in the bin. It's not nice. It just makes your tongue dry. It's like that toxic waste shit.
This is why you drink Krabby's ginger beer when you're eating jelly babies.
That is true.
Apart from Adam and Moon. Isn't that what you had in the hotel?
It was. Yeah.
The ginger beer is non-alcoholic, isn't it?
Adam and Moon is the fourth Doctor in this story.
No, it does say alcoholic ginger beer on the wrapper.
He's not just cosplaying. He is the fourth Doctor in this story.
Yes. Of course, this week's episode is about the android invasion, which is why John is wearing an eye patch. And Adam and Moon is
And I'm reporting from Devesham.
And Adam is here. Because, of course, the meme that was for the 100th episode is Adam and Moon is our go-to fourth Doctor correspondent.
And I thought I'd come on because how do you follow perfection? Because obviously this story follows on from perfection and like Doctor Who perfection personified for my view. So, I sort of had to be here for the follow-up.
And they did. And I can tell you now.
I had no idea this was the third story in season 11.
Yeah, I like that. To be fair, okay, it's one of quite a number of examples.
Yeah, how do you follow perfection with Death to the Daleks?
What's the third story in season 11?
It's Death to the Daleks,
Yeah.
which is directly after Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Okay, Invasion of Dinosaurs not perfection, but we're not get it's close to. There is no episode of Doctor Who that is perfection. There is no Doctor episode that is perfection.
I'm tempted to forgive you because you've got a tickly cough, but you know my position on this. That this you've besmirched me already, and we've not even started talking about this episode.
Slander.
Absolute slander.
Well, since Adam Amoon is here, Cookie, you love doing the breakdowns. Should we let Adam Amoon try and give it a version of the break? Let's see whether Adam Amoon can, as a special guest, let's just shove him in the deep end.
He is reporting live from Devesham, so I think it's only fitting.
Yeah. So, Adam, what would you say is the plot?
Is it Asylum?
So, of course, we got the Doctor and Sarah arriving in Devesham, and it's quite quiet. It's suspiciously quiet, apart from a unit soldier that sort of has to twitch and fall and has that's quite a stunt, as the unit soldier as he falls off the cliff, and I really like, cool, that's off to a very bleak and fascinating start. And so yeah, they explore the village, and they discover that the unit soldier had freshly minted coins. You're like, what's going on? How are these coins all freshly minted? They go to a pub and they're like, oh my god, how is this dartboard? This is very new. It's a new dartboard. And then yes, so turns out android duplicates and Stig Ron.
Oh no. And then the Doctor and Sarah Jane have to try and save the day. But is it the real Doctor and is it the real Sarah Jane? Oh no. And everything and Benton arrives. Benton's here to save the day, baby.
And my good mate, Mr. Martyr.
Yes, Ian Martyr as Harry Sullivan.
Or is it Harry Sullivan?
Or is it Harry Sullivan? Is this quickly before we actually get to the episode? Is this John Levine's last ever appearance in Doctor Who?
Trying to remember if he shows up in Seeds of Doom or not. I think it might well be. I think it's him and Harry's last appearance.
Yes.
Thank Christ for that.
Because I was going to say, for the Five Doctors, it's Mike Yates rather than Enton.
No.
In the
the Brig and Mike show up, don't they? Mike and Liz.
Mike and Liz.
No,
and there's Mike that shows up in Dimension Time as well. So Benton's not in that either. So and I count a canon anyway. So
Benton in the centenary. It's got to happen. John Levine is back, baby. No, I don't mind John Levine.
All of his LA projects, I would have thought.
Yeah, all this. Right, guys, what am I add? So I'm going to go to you, obviously, because I know you're a big Fourth Doctor stan. This one isn't considered bad, but it's not considered like the top tier. What do you make of the android invasion?
Yeah, and as you say, it's probably not. It's no Pyramids, Mars, Brain, and Morbius or Deadly Saturn, but I watched it. I still had a really good time. Like, I think this is Terry Nation. I think it's one of two non-Dalek rated scripts that he's written, and I think it's really cool. It's I think Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen are the dynamic that sort of hold together. Like, it's just because the first episode is just mainly those two. There's no sort of, well, there is supporting cast, but you're just enjoying it as they're exploring the village. And I think the plot moves along really nicely. You start by being intrigued about what's going on with that unit soldier, and the people arriving on the truck. Coming in, Stig Ron's got quite a cool, menacing voice. I genuinely, I think this is just a fun watch. It's a nice, it follows on from what. Okay, I have to now say one of a few examples of Doctor Who perfection, and in the story after it is another example of one of Doctor Who perfection. But I still really enjoy it, and very solid stuff from Terry Nation.
Nice. I'll go next. I'll go in the middle because normally I give myself the beginning or the end. So I'll go in the middle for once. I enjoy this to a certain extent until the final part, in which I just kind of get lost at what's happening. I think the first part is the best part, actually. Like you say, I think this is obviously peak Liz and Tom sort of in their kind of mode, and they're on fire together. They're back and forth. Actually, the most fun part is probably that opening exchange where you could at the point they're just laughing and probably ad-libbing, to be honest. And like she's correcting him, he's correcting her, sort of thing. They're having a laugh.
Watch out for the ramble.
Yeah, they're allowing little lines to be in there with little giggles, which you could probably tell on set. It was just them perhaps going off each other and just kind of coming up with those lines, and they just used it. But I thought that was really fun. And it opens up, obviously, with the really dark opening, actually, of the supposed unit soldier, who you could tell is not right, just chucking himself off a cliff. And you go, oh, okay, it's that kind of story. As we get into the mystery a bit more, I sort of begin to lose it. I think aliens, there's a lot of portraying going on here. So the aliens are using the androids and our poor old one-eyed fella, I don't remember his name, but it turns out they're just going to portray them all. Yeah, they're going to portray them all and stuff like that. Just for me, I think it just loses a bit then, but it is a lot of fun. It's fun to watch. There is great, I don't want to call it campy moments. There's a lot of fun moments in this. I think the android acting is some of my favorite bits. Tom Baker in the last part is really good when he's his android evil self, and all he essentially does is like grin at everything. Whenever he says his android stuff, he's just got an evil grin on the whole time. But no, I think it's okay. I think the final reveal with our one-eyed friend, who I'm going to just, again, you say his name, but I didn't catch it. What was it?
Crayford.
Is it Crayford? Yeah, is that it?
Crayford
is absolutely ridiculous, and not in a funny way, in like a fundamental story flaw way, because it's meant to be like a oh my lord sort of thing, when actually you just kind of go, are you taking the absolute piss? But yeah, I also think the aliens are a bit meh. I just think the best part about it is Tom and Liz, and when the story focuses on them and kind of the village with the androids in the first half, I think it's much better, personally. What about you, John?
I really enjoy this one. It doesn't get noticed as much as it maybe should because of where it sits in terms of Doctor Who's timeline. It's smack bang in the middle of season 13, which many people with any form of sense consider to be one of the kind of highest points in Doctor Who's history. So because it's kind of sandwiched around stories like Terror of the Zygons, Brain of Morbius, Pyramids of Mars, Seeds of Doom, it maybe doesn't get talked about as much. I really like this one. Yeah, it's not without its issues, as we'll come on to. I think the chemistry between Tom and Liz has never been better than it is at this point in the show. If you look at Pyramids of Mars and this, they are just two friends bouncing off of each other at this point. It's fantastic. I actually think that this is quite a rare example of a classic Who story that could maybe do with another couple of episodes. That's a little too short, because you get that brilliant 3 episodes of setup on Poseidon, the alien planet, and then it's all kind of wrapped up down on Earth. And what you actually want is 2 or 3 episodes down on Earth with that kind of duplicitousness, where you're not sure who's who and you're not sure who you can trust. And I think that's why it kind of gets a little bit difficult to follow, because there's not enough time to build up that intrigue over the last episode. So yeah, I think it's a rare example of something where actually there could have been a couple more episodes in it. I mean, I've got to give particular credit, I think, to Milton Johns in this, who I think puts in a brilliant performance, shark jump aside, as Crayford. And, the shark jumping isn't his fault. That's a problem with the script. But he is brilliant as this man who, let's face it, he's suffering from PTSD. He's effectively got Stockholm syndrome, where he's been brainwashed by the Kralls. And then when he realizes that he's sold out his entire race for basically being duped, that kind of revelation at the end, it is fantastic. Unfortunately, you can't get past the big question of why the fuck at no point has he not looked underneath that eye patch. But I think he is fantastic in it. I think most of the supporting cast are very, very good in it. I think I just kind of wish there was a little bit more Earthbound stuff, because I think that you get a lot of really good build up and then all of your payoffs kind of fit into 20 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you on this one. Obviously, this one I had seen before. This is my second viewing, so I was able to talk about this on our big Doctor Who ranking. I would say my opinion has changed. I'd say I did enjoy it more this time around. I think especially those early moments. I actually agree with you, John, because in the last episode I was watching it really, eyes onto it, but I couldn't really figure out. They kind of cut to the Earth versions of Benton and Harry without any kind of knowledge that it's them, and you just sort of have to know that you have to kind of pick it up at about 30 seconds. Oh, these are the real versions of them, and they're like, oh, it's coming towards Earth, and we're like, oh, we're now just back on regular Earth. I mean, you sort of have to figure that out yourself. It's not very clear. And yeah, I think it would have been a lot more fun to have an extra, maybe one part of a bit of 20-minute shenanigans of who's who, because the Tom Baker versus Tom Baker stuff is really fun, but you only get like 2 scenes of it. I would have loved a bit more of that. I also thought as well, considering there's a lot of layers to the double crossing, if you like, of the androids are going to be double crossed, I would have liked a bit more meat on that. Maybe the androids kind of go and infiltrate themselves a bit as well. That would have been really fun, because it just sort of seems that comes in quite late and the androids don't seem to care. And then Tom Baker at the end goes, hello, I've reprogrammed my robot self to do this. And you kind of have to go, oh, but yeah, I think it's really fun. I think it's a lot of fun. There's some really good campy moments when they're going into the pub and there's just the barkeeper who's like, pint of what? And all this sort of stuff. And I think it is a lot of fun. I actually really like the costumes of the spacemen with the fingers. Obviously, this week at the fun line is that finger loaded, which is a great Tom Baker line. Yeah, I think it's fun. I just think that's going to be my number one compliment of this. It's easy to watch, which can't be said about every episode of Doctor Who. There is a lot of them where sometimes you kind of dip out for a part or...
Sorry, could you say that again?
No. I don't know what happened. Apparently I said the S word in that, but no, I think it's a lot of fun and I think it's easily digestible. Yeah. But I think the main issue is the villains for me. I think they build it up really well, that you say, John, over those first 3 parts, and you get to the end and it sort of happens all at once very, very quickly, and it's very tricky to keep up. I mean, Adam, what do you make of the final part? Do you think it could have done with an extra 20 minutes maybe just to space it out a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, and to iron out those details. And like you were saying about, it would be great to establish that, they were the real Benton and Harry, and just for some more sort of android versus human kind of. I think it could build to a more epic climax, I think, and really stretch things out, resolve things. I think, to have a more satisfying ending. But I think as is, though, they're probably, it could have been ironed out. I still kind of enjoy it for what it is still. And I was engaged from the start, and, I think it's one of those stories that you could get the point, you sort of lose to win by part 4, but I'm still on for the ride. It's one of those for me.
I also, at the end of part 1, because I have a shit memory, thought there was just a Sontaran peeking through. And I was like, I don't remember Sontarans being in this. Like, what the? Obviously, it's not. But yeah, I think
that cliffhanger at the end of part 1 is brilliant, because it's like, we've got 25 minutes and we need a cliffhanger. Let's literally open a hatch in a wall and have an alien poke his face through.
Yeah.
That's quality.
I can imagine that being a behind the sofa moment, for the younger viewers at the time. I think particularly the way it's shot and everything. And it's interesting for this story to have Ian Marter, literally the second story in the season, for him to play not himself as well as himself.
Yeah.
Yep. Obviously, because this was in the season of Terror of the Zygons.
That's right.
I love how they kind of brigadier, kind of bait you with, is he going to be in it? No, he's not in it. Not on the fake planet, not on the real Earth. He's just not
in
there.
Geneva.
He's always in bloody Geneva. Well, always wanting to go to Geneva. Instead, we get Faraday, who is this a new character? I'm going to be honest, my unit lore is not brilliant. Is Faraday a new, or is this not the first time we've seen Faraday?
I don't think we've seen Faraday before.
No.
have we?
I don't think so.
I think he does. He does come back in Seeds of Doom, doesn't he? Or is that somebody else again? Or is it Beresford in Seeds of Doom?
I think it's probably somebody different in Siege of Doom from my recollection. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a pretty fun character. Just like this, essentially, you could have said the word poppycock, and it would have fit in with this character very well. He's like, this is ridiculous. This is, androids. I don't believe you. It's really good, and I love how it's really nice that our established characters kind of go, no, we should trust the Doctor on this one. Because the one thing I really don't like in Doctor Who stories, it happens much more in the Mon series, is when characters know the Doctor is always right, but if they work for an established corporation, they always go with the corporation rather than just going with the Doctor, which makes things 10 times easier and things happen much faster. So that was always good that Benton and Harry were like, no, if the Doctor says something, it's for a reason, sort of thing, which is nice. But yeah, I also got, speaking of Invasion of the Dinosaurs earlier on, John, I actually got Invasion of the Dinosaurs sort of vibes from the first part. Very sort of similar styles in the fact that it's just our two leads kind of wandering around a dead place, and sort of not everything seems right.
Yeah, it is that kind of it's a very good first episode in terms of that spookiness, and we don't really know what's going on, and there's elements of kind of mystery to it, and there is that degree of like, well, where is everybody? Obviously, the addition here is you've got the addition of this kind of mysterious villagers, which gives it quite a sort of horror vibe at points. Yeah, I mean, this is effectively Doctor Who does Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, I feel as well. The actual android faces, they do look grim, but especially with the eye detail is what makes it. When the android Sarah's face pops off, is at the end of part 2.
Yeah.
That is a visual and a half.
That's very good design, and the fact that they use that kind of clockwork music motif as well when they reveal the androids' faces, so you can hear that kind of beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. It's that kind of machine type music. It's very cleverly done.
Yeah, I think as well. I need to check who directed this, because it's actually I don't really talk about direction much. It's Barry Letts. That's why it's so good. I like it. I was going to say, I was watching this. I was going, this looks and I don't really say that about a lot of classics. Not that they look bad, but normally the direction is not something that you particularly point out, especially by today's standards. But this episode is wonderfully shot. Like,
yeah, definitely, and yeah, I think for Classic Who that you sort of have your classic sort of Douglas Camfield and David Maloney and stuff like that. So that there are some directors and some visuals that kind of like, it's supposed to be good. This must be like a Camfield but yeah, Letts is probably up there, with those guys as fab directors of Classic Who.
Yeah, it's just like
somebody that understands the show, and obviously having sort of previously been producer, he also comes at it from that perspective of knowing how things work and knowing how to get things on budget. But he was also very much known as an actor's director. Say he always built a good rapport with actors, and just runs a happy ship.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to what I was saying earlier on then about, I said that I thought in the first part he was just sort of letting the Doctor and Sarah sort of riff off each other, and it felt like quite a loose script. That's probably why. But no, I think the outside shots look beautiful, and when we get that Blu-ray with the upscaling, I think that's going to look particularly wonderful.
I think when the Blu-ray comes out, we should all go to Devesham.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go and drink ginger beer in the Fleur de Lis.
Where is Devesham?
East Hagborn. I was lucky enough, like 2019, me, Adam and Will took a visit down there, and yeah, it's just lovely. And I think that's why I love. There's one of the reasons why I'm sort of another big plus of the story is the location. I almost feel like it's a side, and it's a planet and a character amongst itself, and just sort of being in there, you're sort of in the story. I think it's like that and the Demons for Devil's End are probably like the two Classic Who stories with like the kind of location that probably the fans go to the most, and the ones that are, you know, where you kind of almost feel like you're stepping into the story in amongst yourself, because things are just unchanged, and you know, so many cool shots are taken there.
I think as well, it's one of those locations that is kind of iconic. You know, the thing in the center of the square that the Doctor gets tied to. I mean, I remember the DVD art,
that basically.
Yeah, the DVD artwork with him being attached to that was very cool. And I think we should all move the BFI to Devsham and just when it's season 13 and just watch. I know there's no offense to this story, but I know there's.
We'll have no talk of moving the BFI. We're not getting to that one.
No, I just meant as a joke.
The London elite are very happy with the BFI being and fuck everywhere else.
But all I'm saying, John, is the Devsham elite does have a good ring to it. That's all I'm saying.
It does, but why would you deprive yourself of a day out? Why would you combine your season 13 BFI day with a trip to Devsham when you can do both?
Because it's the only time that the BFI would probably play Invasion of the Android Invasion.
Yeah, but they're going to play Pyramids of Mars or Seeds of Doom.
Adam,
well, I think Morbius might be another contender. I think maybe.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones in the scene, and that's what you were saying, John. Is that this one does kind of get overlooked because of its placing in Doctor Who history, I suppose. And when it came out, you know, it's sort of it's like kind of like a series, like for me, series 5 episode. Like for me, the Vampires of Venice kind of gets quite overlooked, and I think that's like a very similar level, kind of fun little story. You know, nothing too great, but it's a fun little script and watch and whatever. I think it's a similar situation.
Also with fab location work, because is it Croatia? I think they went because they did that, and then Vincent and the Doctor was also they did those back to back just to get that much out location. It's beautiful. Yeah,
it's and obviously with the fish people. Great fun. But I think as well, a positive of this story and the script is that actually Sarah has knowledge of the character. I've got Wikipedia up, but John will know. His name is Crayford. And she's like, he can't be there. He's dead. And that is actually
Guy Crayford is dead.
And that is a really kind of cool sort of thing, is that she already has prior knowledge of this person. And you know, actually, unlike Chris Chibnall, using the character's occupation to the advantage of the script when it's necessary. But you know, I thought it was a really nice thing, and it gave Sarah a bit of a kind of purchase within the story, and it kind of helped her not just being wandering around following the Doctor in this mystery. She had her own knowledge to bring to the mystery itself, which I thought was a really cool idea, actually. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is really kind of cool, because it gives Liz Sladen a bit of something to do.
Well, given his association with UNIT, it is a little surprising that the Doctor wasn't aware of Crayford.
Another shark jump. If there's one episode where we allow it, it's got to be this one.
We'll allow it. It is one of those things where it's like, yeah, if he'd meant to have disappeared like 2 years ago, then, I mean, without getting into UNIT dating stuff, the Doctor would surely have been aware, because UNIT would have been involved.
We will allow it for this.
Space pilot disappears.
We will allow for this line. If you're calling the butler, I am very partial to tea and muffins, because I too would be impartial to it.
If it was coffee and muffins, I'd have it, but not tea. I'm not a tea man.
Hey, Crayford sold you out to the claws.
Yeah, what do we make of them? Because I think they're terrible. They're the one bit
I like them. I mean, they're another one of those kind of iconic images, aren't they? You know, they're one of those iconic monsters. If I recall rightly from watching the making of documentary years ago, there were some issues with the masks in terms of the actors not necessarily being able to speak clearly or be heard clearly through the masks. But no, I like them. I like the idea that this is a race that isn't trying to sort of conquer through war and sort of fighting, etc., and actually trying to use science.
Mm-hmm. Science, bitch. No, I agree with you. Actually, although Crayford does have one of the biggest shark jumps in the show, his like sort of relationship with them and the fact he has such faith in these creatures that he believes to have saved him is actually a really tragic storyline.
Yeah.
When the doc went, I also like the fact that like the doctor has like a no F's given sort of style when Crayford says, "Oh no, they come in peace. They're gonna, help you out, and we'll take over this part." He's like, "Nah, mate, you're off your rocker." Like he doesn't go with it for the sake of grace. He literally tells him, "Mate, you're not. You're being duped here." Which again is a really strong scene. Actually, like you said, the actor does a very good job. It's not his fault that he has one of the worst twists in history.
He has a few sort of he has a couple of roles in the sort of mid-70s where he kind of stands out quite well. He's also in the Invasion of Time as this kind of quite not exactly a Crayford style character, but quite a sort of sniveling sort of weedy Time Lord who helps out the Centaurans basically, and it just bends over backwards when they come to invade.
Yep, there you go. Good old good. So was it Milton
Johns.
Milton Johns? Very strong performance. But Ad, what do you obviously like? You're quite a positive Tom Baker stan. What can you defend that twist though? Can you? Can you? Is I know you can go to many lengths, but it is a bit ridiculous. No. Oh my God, John has another eye. Oh my God.
It doesn't really work, but
yeah.
I know, but it's not one of those when I'm like, oh my God, the story's ruined now. Oh my God.
No,
it's like,
not at all.
Because there's some like, shark jumps that I'd say are probably way, bigger and, be like, oh, well, that's it. That's the story ruined. I can't enjoy this anymore.
I mean, I do think this is the biggest one, but I think that the story's quite fun, and so you let it pass.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think there are others that are not quite as big, but they maybe stand out a bit more.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny more than anything. Like it's just kind of, it's one of those, it doesn't ruin the story by any stretch of the imagination at all, because it's not really a big revelation about his eye anyway. Really doesn't have much impact on the story. His eye.
Why didn't they just take his eye out?
Yeah. Yeah. We would have thought. One of my favorite things as well is there's twice in this episode or story, if you like, where Sarah Jane falls over for no reason. One is at the beginning of part one, which I still can't work out what really happens. They're just kind of walking along at a very slow pace. She trips over and almost falls off a cliff. That I was like,
oh yeah,
that escalated quickly. In the words of Ron Burgundy, like that came out of nowhere.
And has quite a badly sprained ankle, and then 10 minutes later he's able to run.
Yep. Ad, what about that shark jump? But
again, I mean that could be down to the gravity levels on a side.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Yeah, I just think I don't think there's like too much to say about this one. I think it's fun. I think that the spaceship looks all right. You could tell this obviously one where they were trying to save the budget a little bit because nothing looks too grand. But I thought the spaceship looked all right. It looked a bit murky and a bit grim.
It's interesting you say that because I suppose with the plus side that they went on location to this, you wouldn't sort of think it's such. You'd say, oh, it's mainly studio bound, lots of corridors and all that kind of stuff. And you have your alien spaceship, which I think design looked good, and there was some sort of, I'd sort of almost got some Zygon ship vibes from it, but not massively, like just the old kind of thing. But
could it have been the same set, just like repainted or moved around a bit?
I wouldn't have been too surprised if it were, but at the same time, it still looks very cool.
You gotta use what you got in. I ain't gonna judge it.
I think it's Roger Murray Leach who's the production designer, and he's always great.
Yeah. What do we make of the whole sort of? I'll say one thing where this episode does fail in a sense, but in a funny sense, is even when they're trying to show you who the android and who the real person is, because they keep intercutting, it's very difficult to know who you're watching at any given time. Not only in the last episode where it's really difficult, but throughout, and it's just rather funny because you just sort of got to give it a minute in a scene sometimes when the character hasn't spoken yet and go, well, is this the real version of them or is this the android version? Because I don't really know right now.
I mean, that's clearly deliberate. That's part of the storytelling.
Yeah, until it's not, and you're meant to know, and I still don't know, but maybe that's because I'm
I'm not entirely sure you're meant to know at any exact point. You know, so this is effectively Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, don't trust anybody, don't believe what you see, sort of style thing. So yeah, I don't think that you're kind of meant to know at any point, even. You know, with that final scene with the Doctor's android, you're not meant to know that's the Doctor's android.
No, it's just very poorly done. In the sense of the Doctor goes, I just reprogrammed it in 3 minutes. It's like, all right. Okay.
I mean, if anyone can, he can.
I suppose it's fine. I just kind of go, all right.
You know, it's possible to do so because they established in episode 3 that Stigran programmed the alien that programmed the android to be hostile to Kralls.
Those bloody Kralls. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else that people want to mention in this one?
I've got a little thing. So I'd say it's to do with the android invasion, but of course this story, I got it from. I remember. It came in a DVD box set with another certain story. I'll pass it over to a friend who on this podcast who's a fan of that story at the moment. But went to BBC shop, I think there was the 10% thing off. Bought the Unit Files box set with what was the other story?
It was ironically. I mean, you asked how you follow perfection. It was indeed Invasion of the Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
This was
Unit Files
in 2012 or 13. It was one of the later releases, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Unit Files box set with was basically they took the 2 remaining unit stories that hadn't been released, and it was Invasion of Dinosaurs and the Android Invasion, and they packaged them together.
Nice.
That was fun to watch both of them back. Well, yeah, that's how I watched. So both for the first time I watched Invasion of Dinosaurs, and I'd be like, oh, Android Invasion's in this. Well, I've got to watch that too. So
yeah, they've both got quite similar first episodes. They've both got that element of who can you really trust.
Yeah,
that actually, although you wouldn't expect it, they actually work quite well together as stories.
And both star Elizabeth Sladen.
Yeah, and they do.
And have Barry Letts involved.
Yeah.
And John Levine.
And obviously, Invasion of the Dinosaurs had a recoloring thing, didn't it? No, didn't it?
Yeah, it went through the red dot. Was it the red dot process they used? I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. If there's nothing else to mention apart from
where you can buy this story until it's season 13 Blu-ray release at some point.
The only thing about BBC Shop is that I always wanted that Series 8 Blu-ray with the tap button.
Oh yeah, you can tap it and it makes the TARDIS. Yeah.
I miss the BBC Shop. It was always fun to just browse.
Me too.
As Sylvester McCoy would say, the story is available on BritBox and other streaming services.
Yes, that's why I watched it. I did watch it on BritBox actually, because I've got rid of all my Doctor Who DVDs now.
You've refreshed your BritBox subscription.
Yeah, I did because you made me
want to watch Psycho Girl.
Yeah, because you told me to watch that show. I've not got around to it yet. All I've watched is the In-Betweeners movie and the Android Invasion.
I mean, that's you sorted for life there. Android Invasion and the In-Betweeners movie.
They're very, very different things.
I'm sure there are connections somewhere. I mean, both involve both involve like a dead quiet pub at one point. There is that bit in the Betweeners movie where they're in a really quiet pub.
Yeah.
Just the girls sat over there and trying to impress them by their dancing.
I'm not going to start dancing, but I could do the elbow thing.
The elbow thing, yeah.
I don't know anything about football, but I know I hate Burnley.
Burnley can F off. But yeah, to wrap up, I gave this a 6 on the 100th episode poll. I'm actually going to up that to a 7. I think I'm gonna up that to a 7. I think this is a solid little episode of Doctor Who, 4 parts, fun. I think if it's what I call a Sunday afternoon story. One that if you're bored on a Sunday afternoon, not got much going on, you want to pop a fun classic Tom Baker on. This could be one I go to on a Sunday afternoon. You know,
I can't remember what I gave it on the poll, which makes me a charlatan and a fraud, but I'm going to say 7 or 7.5.
well, do you want me to tell you now because I've got it
Whatever.
right up here. Hang on, 2 seconds. It's there. John Cook gave the episode a 7.
There you go. Consistent.
Let's see if Adam Amoon is consistent.
I think I'm sticking with what I think I gave in the poll. What I would remember would be an 8, but if that's what I wrote, I'm sure that's what I wrote down. But if it's not, then
You did not give it an 8.
Ooh.
oh, I gave it a 9, I think, didn't I?
No, you didn't. You gave it 7.5.
Well, I'm not getting all right. 0.5 up then. That's an
We'll
8.
give it an 8. Okay. Well, guys, that's the main part of this over. Of course, you can join us next month to talk about the Dalek 2-part of Midget Suspense, which is familiar.
Or I need to enable you to share screen.
You do indeed. You're going to find out. Adam, I haven't spoken to Adam about this yet, but this is my plan. This will come out a bit later as well next week because a series that me and Adam have been watching finishes up next week when we're recording this.
Yeah.
And we reviewed season 2. I haven't asked him yet, but next week could be The Boys season 3 if Adam is down. But it will come out late because I'll be away for the weekend. So it will come out on like Tuesday or Wednesday instead of a Monday because I won't have the time over the weekend to watch it. So yeah, next week Adam will be back because we'll review The Boys. So
and then the week after that, we'll be back again because we're doing From Russia with Love.
we are indeed. So Adam Mamoon it's triple Mamoon. We're triple dipping with Mamoon.
What do the Android invasion From Russia with Love and The Boys have in common?
Adam Mamoon.
Apparently so.
Well, let's find out. Ad, what are we saying? What are you thinking here?
I think I'll just go modern series probably.
Oh no,
Modern series.
It's got to be classic because we're doing classic, modern, aren't we?
Oh,
We can't do. We
Hey!
don't double doctor. We don't double doctor.
Hang on, we're not double doctoring.
It's another new rule.
Oh no!
We're not
It's
double doctoring. We're doing PCAP next.
Oh my god!
Oh, okay. For the listeners, the absolute banger that is Horror of Fang Rock came up. Alex Kingdom. Kingdom has vetoed it. We are now stuck with the twin dilemma.
I've never seen it. It was the one I thought I could avoid.
At LFCC this weekend, you can actually meet the twins from the twin dilemma.
Oh no! Do you want to come back for the twin dilemma?
Absolute muck.
Well, I was going to say I was going to come back for Horror of Fang Rock, but then you vetoed it, so I'm vetoed out with Horror of Fang Rock. So I'm afraid I can't be.
He's dodging the bullet. Right. Well, so this is the plan for next month of our Doctor Who reviews. You can join me, John, Owen, and Elijah to talk about the Peter Capaldi 2-part Dalek story of Series 9, and then the month after that.
Everybody loves Colin at the moment. They don't want us bringing up the twin dilemma.
The month after that, we will watch the twin dilemma. Oh Christ! Owen's not here. Owen's got COVID. Now I'm gonna have to text him and say, "Mate, you're not aware yet." But
I'll let him find out on the podcast. Let him listen and find out.
Yes, I'll tell him you have to listen to the end to find out what we're doing. But guys, please do go follow Adam Mamoon on social media at beer_can_Batman and follow John Cook at johnboy_cook on Twitter. You can follow me, Alex King_Dom, all the underscores this week, and you can follow the show at the Timeless Pod. Yes, next week, me and Adam will be back to talk about The Boys. But is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up? Before John does his little thing? No,
I would never want to say John's little thing for right at the end. But what I was, just because he's not here, I thought you should go to the Who shop to shop for some Doctor Who goodness. As we got our friend Owen, who can't be on the podcast, but just wanted to plug that for him and Dr. Disco 63. So
what would you recommend to get from the Who shop at this very second, mate?
Anything really, anything. Probably the Sea Devil T-shirt.
The Sea Devil T-shirt, absolutely.
and,
Go
the,
back.
and the Doctor Who magazine 1967 Chronicles, which has recently been published.
Indeed. Right. Well, Jono, take us away this week, mate.
Good night. God bless. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well.